Hello and welcome and a very good morning. It's 8 a.m. in New Delhi. I am Satya Srigandham.
And I'm Charu Shankar and you're watching WION Breakfast. But before we begin the show, here's the heads up for the day. A community in Western India protects the environment and calls it their religious duty.
We also have a story from Sierra Leone where students are working tirelessly to tackle the maternal health crisis of the country.
Also, as part of the show is a story from Madagascar, giving us an alternative to the plastic bag.
And treat for Spider-Man fans as the trailer of the new movie Spider-Man Homecoming has been released.
And last but most important, this week on WION Stretch, we have Zubin Atre. Follow him for his unique yoga mantras. Well, it's a very good morning here and Satya and I are very excited. As usual, we have our good thoughts keeping us buoyant, don't we, Satya?
That's absolutely right. I'll let you start with yours, Charu.
Well, my happy thought for the day is that today there was no fog at all. I got here in double the time.
And you're calling it a happy thought?
It is my happy thought for the day. Saving time is very happy for me.
All through the year,
I'm a young mother. I need time is like gold to me right now.
Well, not so good for me because I wait for this part of the year for the entire year. Just to see the fog, just to feel that I'm on a hill station.
Ah, yes, you're a winter baby, I forgot.
Totally. Well, I had a very good rest yesterday. Yesterday was a weekend after a very, very long time, after a very hectic week. I had a very good rest. And I'm at peace with myself, counting my blessings, and I'm happy with the world.
Ah, yes, rest. That is definitely something to be thankful about. Well, you must remember to share your good thoughts with us as well. But let's move on with the show because the first story this morning, child's rights activist and Nobel Peace Laureate Kailash Satyarthi launched a landmark 100 Million for 100 Million campaign in New Delhi on Sunday. The campaign aims to protect the rights of children around the world. WION's Manoj Keval Ramani tells us more.
Thousands of children gathered at Rashtrapati Bhavan in New Delhi to witness the beginning of a new movement. Indian President Pranab Mukherjee on Sunday launched the 100 Million for 100 Million campaign. The initiative is the brainchild of child rights activist and Nobel laureate Kailash Satyarthi. It aims to mobilize 100 million youth from around the world to aid 100 million children who are disempowered or whose rights are being denied. In order to do so, the campaign is bringing together leaders and Nobel laureates from around the world to engage with children and motivate them.
Women are free. In the next 5 years, people like me will continue to struggle for making the future of the world to be better for you.
This isn't about us doing something that's going to help you or serve you. This is about you saying, I have rights, and I demand my rights.
The idea behind getting the leaders together is to share personal experiences, exchange ideas, and identify best practices that can perhaps be replicated in different parts of the world.
My mother had 5 daughters, and I probably would not be sitting here had my father not been the person who was pushing. He often said, I do not have properties to leave my daughter. I will educate you all. I think we've talked long enough about women, abuse against women, rape, abuse, child marriage, and all of these things. It's time for the men of the world to stand up.
The question of education is about access, is about quality, is about value for money, but it's also about the content. And it's not just about education. It's also the fight of inequality, it's also health, and it's also not just formal education, but skills, skills, skills. skill.
The leaders and laureates will be meeting on an annual basis in order to assess the impact of the campaign and build on the dialogue process initiated here. Over the next 5 years, the 100 Million for 100 Million campaign aims to protect the rights of children, end child slavery and end child labor. The launch of the campaign has been greeted with much enthusiasm. However, given the nature and the scope of the issues it wishes to cover, maintaining that momentum is likely to be a challenging task. In New Delhi, this is Manoj Keval Ramani, WION.
Oh, what a great initiative there. And of course, we do know that children do need protection there for children's rights. In fact, everything needs protection these days, Satya, including wildlife, the environment, everything.
Interesting you say that, Charu, because our next story is about protecting the environment for our children because they are the future.
Yes, they are.
In the great Thar Desert of India, where life is a fight for survival, there resides a community that believes protecting the environment is their religious duty. WION's Nagin Singh travelled to Western Rajasthan to meet members of the Bishnoi community for a glimpse into their lives. Take a look.
The Bishnois of Rajasthan are an example of how humans can live in harmony with nature. The community, which has a history of over 500 years, derives its name from the 29 teachings of its founder Jamboji. In Rajasthani language, Bish means 20 and Noi means 9.
देखो बिश्नोई समाज को आज वो सब जानवरों के साथ ही रहता है। अरे हमारे बिश्नोई समाज को धर्म है, पहले हमारे गुरु जम्बेश्वर भगवान को यही नेम है।
It is the duty of every Bishnoi to save all living beings, plants and trees, maintain cleanliness every day. These are few of 29 principles of the Bishnois.
As part of their beliefs, the Bishnois are fiercely protective of wildlife. They also do not cut trees or cremate their dead, as Hindus usually do. Instead, they use dried cow dung as fuel, cook in earthen ovens, and choose to bury the deceased.
सब सागर लागे सेब वो हिंड साफ लागे हिंड को जामे जी ग्रुप या करे और तो भाई
Our guru tells us to practice non-violence. No one eats non-vegetarian food in our community. When people kill an animal to eat, it makes me sick. These animals are like our children. We take care of fawns and sometimes even breastfeed them if they are newly born. When they are able to walk and fend for themselves, we release them back into the wild.
Their dedication to preserving nature first came to the fore during the 17th century Chipko movement. The movement was in response to an order by Maharaja Abhay Singh of Marwar to cut the sacred khejri trees for the construction of his new palace. In the violence that ensued, 363 Bishnois led by Amrita Devi sacrificed their lives to protect the trees. With that history, the Bishnois continue to act as a bulwark against felling trees and poaching in the region.
Poaching is illegal here. We are the ones who reach a poaching site before the officers of the forest department. But we don't have guns to fight these armed poachers. We fight these armed poachers with mere sticks. There are deer in my farmland, but I never hurt them, even if they eat a crop. But I can happily give my life away to save these animals.
Given the threat that animals and the environment face today from human activities, the lifestyle of the Bishnois carries a timely and much needed message of coexistence. In Rajasthan, Nagin Singh, WION.
What a lovely story over there. Charu, there is, in the current day, in the kind of lives that we lead, there's just so much of noise. It's important to protect our kids from the noise. It's important to protect our environment from the noise. There's just a lot of violence in our actions, violence everywhere. I think it's just very, very important for us to create that space where our kids, who are the future, can enjoy a happy life and be blessed that one is born into this world.
Yeah, absolutely, Satya. I could couldn't have put it better. And you know what, like, though we do live amongst so much violence, it's really heartening when someone stands up and decides to take a cause forward.
Yes.
And it's happening more and more in the world. In fact, after decades of conflict, Afghanistan is facing a deteriorating security situation, which we all know, but one group of cyclists are using their sport to escape rising violence in the country. Take a look at this report.
A group of Afghan teenagers equipped with makeshift protective gear gather on a dusty hill on the outskirts of Afghan capital Kabul to practice a variety of freestyle cycling tricks they've learned from online videos and social media. Brushing aside suicide bombings, they are part of Afghanistan's first freestyle cycling club, Drop and Ride, established 2 months ago to help keep young Afghans away from drugs, petty crime and violence. The hill offers this group of boys a more rural terrain, but back in the capital, the rest of the club of 50 mostly teenage Afghans, including 15 women, use a concrete football compound as their playground. As the evening sets in, members mount their often rickety bicycles and warm up as metal tables, wooden crates and boxes are turned into makeshift obstacle courses and used to perfect the stunts learnt online.
مشکلات زیاد ما که از همین ناامنی است. ما وقتی یک جای میریم به خاطر تمرین دل کده نمیتونیم که جای دور بریم یا مثلا در خود شهر حتی با دل پر نمیتونیم تمرین کنیم.
Mirzada said the group is attracting a lot of interest from young Afghans who pay a membership fee of 400 Afghanis, which is $6.01 per month. He hopes the Afghan government and international aid groups will help fund its expansion with better bicycles and facilities. Bureau Report, WION Sports.
Cycling it is, huh? Cycling for fitness and cycling for awareness.
You got it, Satya. You want to cycle this winter, by the way, with me?
I totally could.
All right. Well, on that happy note, we're going to slip into a quick break. See you on the other side.
Welcome back. You're still with us on WION Breakfast. Now from South Asia to West Africa, where graduates from Sierra Leone's midwife schools are working day in and out to improve the health crisis in the country, which has the highest rate of maternal mortality in the world. This report tells us more about their efforts. Take a look.
The Masuba School in Sierra Leone teaches its students how to bring life into the world. As part of their midwife training course, every pupil spends time working in a remote village, where one of the toughest challenges is overcoming people's resistance to modern medicine.
People don't believe in the hospital facility. They believe in the native medication thing. They cancel them. The nurses they talk to them, tell them the importance of being in the hospital. Even though some, if they tell them, they'll still refuse and they'll go home. I don't want to be in a hospital, I don't want to be in a hospital.
Sierra Leone has the highest maternal mortality rate in the world, mostly due to early and frequent pregnancies. Yet still, the country has only 2 midwife training schools. They teach students how to raise awareness about modern forms of birth control, whilst respecting popular traditional contraceptive methods, such as feathers worn in the hair and plaited cotton bracelets.
Culturally sensitive care. Because of the continent we find ourselves, we also want to respect culture. Because if you dispute this one, then you will not get them to use the modern type. So we encourage them that this one is good, but you back it up with the modern method of family planning.
And with widespread female genital mutilation, which increases the risk of complications during childbirth, and the effects of the Ebola outbreak, which have strained already limited resources, the midwives have their work cut out. Supported by the UN Population Fund, the Masuba Midwifery School receives hundreds of applications each year, but a lack of space means there's a limit to how many midwives they can train.
I believe if they train more midwives and midwives are in every bath, attending to every bath in this country, it will help greatly to reduce maternal mortality. Because with the training, me so far knowing the curriculum that we covers, teaching them the right attitude, telling them the importance of outreach and tracing defaulters in community and involving the community in giving care to our women and children.
In a few weeks, 70 new midwives will graduate to be deployed straight to the front line in Sierra Leone's fight against a maternal health crisis.
That was something. That was really something, huh? The life of midwives.
Yes, and maternal health is actually something that really requires attention because practically every woman in the world goes through, you know, some sort of a reproductive cycle, even if it's not giving birth. You know, most women do have, you know, the cycles to go through, and so maternal health is really very, very important. It's a very important subject and does need modern scientific intervention.
And I believe childbirth can cause the highest level of pain that that a human being can tolerate.
Yes, absolutely. More than someone can tolerate, which is why it sort of comes and goes. But yeah, I'm glad that countries in Africa are now waking up to this and addressing this as a problem. The next story is from Madagascar, where a company is importing cassava starch to produce a biodegradable alternative, after the country banned plastic bags less than 0.05 millimeters thick in October last year. This report tells us more about the environmentally friendly cassava bags. Have a look.
At first glance, these look like ordinary plastic bags, but they're actually made from cassava and contain no polyethylene. According to its manufacturers, this bag would need 3 to 6 months to decompose, instead of 100 years for their plastic equivalents.
It's true that these cassava starch bags are more expensive in comparison to plastic bags, but using them helps protect the environment.
A pack of 50 of these bags costs around €7, whereas plastic bags are usually around 5 times cheaper. Since the 1st of October, the Malagasy government has partially prohibited the sale of plastic bags because of the environmental damage they cause: clogged drains, landscape degradation, and the threat to some ecosystems. With this ban, the manufacturer of cassava starch bags, a Malagasy company, has seen an increase in orders.
For now, the company is based in Madagascar in the local market, but before long we'll export to Mauritius, to South Africa, and many other countries in Africa that have stopped using plastic bags. There's also a market in Asia, because it's also started to ban plastic bags.
Last year, the company claims to have produced 40 tons of these cassava bags. It hopes to increase production to 360 tons this year and see its innovative product cross continents too.
From the stories around the world, we now move forward to the sports world and take a look at what's happening in courts and grounds today.
Twinkle Sohail and Sonia Azmat have the weight of the Pakistani Christian world on their shoulders, but if anyone can bear the hopes of such a persecuted minority, it is these teenage champion powerlifters. Take a look at this package from Pakistan.
Two girls powering their way through the barriers of a persecuted minority. Twinkle Sohail became the first Pakistani woman to represent her country in powerlifting at last year's Asian Championships, and the first to bring back gold. A day later, her teammate Sonia Azmat also topped the podium. The teenage pair are from Pakistan's Christian community, a regular target of extremist attacks and often discriminated against by the Muslim majority.
In Pakistan, you face many difficulties as an athlete when you're a Christian. When we participate in sports, we have to face others trying to drag us down, saying, "She is Christian, she should not be allowed to make progress." Even if someone is performing well, they are held back by this attitude.
Twinkle began her career as a cyclist until a coach noticed her exercising and advised her to take up powerlifting. Sonia got her inspiration from watching female athletes working out on her commute to work in a factory.
I felt I should also go with them and wear jogging bottoms and do what they are doing.
So that's why I went to the railway stadium. And me and my mother talked with them. And that's how I started weightlifting.
Twinkle and Sonia are not the first Pakistani Christians to break sporting records. But they're women in a patriarchal society. They're young and they're winning.
The way they are honoured worldwide and in Pakistan, on social media and electronic media, it inspires others as well, and others will start to follow their example.
Usually dominated by cricket, Pakistan is taking the rare opportunity to seek success in other sports. The country will fund the women's bid to defend their Asian titles at this year's tournament in Uzbekistan. The duo hopes to go even further and strike gold at the World Championships in Florida next year.
With this, it's time for a very quick break, but right after the break, we bring you what's between the lines of newspapers. Stay with us.
Welcome back. You're watching WION Breakfast, and here are the headlines for this morning. Cyclone Varda is likely to make landfall along North Tamil Nadu and South Andhra Pradesh. Schools to remain closed in 4 districts of Tamil Nadu.
India's plan to roll out goods and services tax from 1st April 2017 appears to be unlikely. Tussle between centre and state continues over legislation.
38 killed and more than 150 injured in twin explosions in Istanbul. TAK, an offshoot of the Kurdistan Workers' Party, takes responsibility.
25 dead and 30 injured in an explosion at the Coptic Cathedral Church near Cairo.
Antonio Guterres will take oath as UN Secretary General in the formal ceremony at the General Assembly today.
And India is all set to take on England on the 5th day of the Test series. India is currently in the lead, with England having only 4 wickets in hand.
So those were the headlines, but now it's time for Satya and me to pick up the newspapers and read a little bit more between the lines.
Charu, we start with the good thought of the day, but you know, sometimes when you look at the papers, it's just not good at all. It's just bad news everywhere. But you know, there's one article that I have seen, which is, it's in the Indian Express. It is by Anshrita Rai. Anshrita Rai talks about people who are abandoned by the law. In particular, she talks about a need for legislation to address sexual crimes against men. I think it's a very, very important subject.
Yeah, and a subject that very often gets brushed under the carpet, unfortunately.
Completely.
Yes.
So, she starts talking about a couple of incidents, and then she goes on to talk about the larger picture. Yeah, in 2015, a woman was arrested for forcefully attempting to have sex with an auto driver, Umesh Prasad. The auto rickshaw driver was lured into her flat, and she requested sexual favors from him. In a recent case, a group of 5 men were arrested for sexually assaulting a 16-year-old boy. The boy was stripped while a video of the incident was recorded and circulated. The group who forced the victim to walk naked across the colony was later arrested. That's terrible. That's terrible. Now, a 2010 study conducted in various cities in India found that nearly 19% of the male population conceded that they were indeed subject to sexual harassment at their place of work.
My God.
Yeah, you know, we talk about crimes against women, we talk about women being offended. Now, we don't talk a lot about men having to go through the same harassment. She says what calls for immediate attention is that our society completely fails to recognize that men too can be victims of sexual harassment. Indeed, it is regarded as a taboo, and this silence gives rise to ignorance, burying the widespread issue and muffling a hard stand against it. The various kind of acts that comprise harassment or rape at workplace include the demand or request for sexual favors, explicit sexual overtures, or physical contact and advances. Now, this is something which is always brushed under the carpet because, you know, the kind of patriarchal societies we live in, these are things which just show some kind of control over the kind of society, our people, our families. It's this patriarchal concept, I think, that just muffles the voice which even tries to, you know, cry out for help.
My God, that, you know, it's very scary. I think we do need to recognize that the problem of sexual abuse is not just a problem for women, it's a problem for children, it's a problem for everyone. Because if somebody decides to assault you or to corner you or to, you know, victimize you, then that's it. There is a victim and there is a perpetrator, and gender should not, cloud our judgment when trying to view the situation the way it is. Certainly not for the law.
Yes.
So this is a very important article, abandoned by the law. That's really interesting. All right, well, I have, let's lighten the mood, I think. I have a really nice story here from the DNA. It says, proven yet again, pets have the healing touch.
Oh,
we all knew that, didn't we? We all knew that. Now, people felt their pets played a range of positive roles, such as helping them to manage stigma associated with their mental health by providing acceptance without judgment. In a study, the consistent presence and close proximity of the pets was described as providing an immediate source of calm and therapeutic benefit for the pet's owners. And it says here that even people with mental illnesses actually find the presence of pets highly uplifting. So the participants of a survey, and these are a bunch of participants that actually have mental health problems, they stated that one reason that they were able to sort of come out of their long-term mental problems was their pets, because they helped by distracting them from symptoms and upsetting experiences such as hearing voices or suicidal thoughts.
Charu, I can vouch for the fact that having a pet at home is therapeutic beyond imagination.
Absolutely, absolutely.
You know, just one little touch of the thing which is so dear to you and wants to be so loyal to you at all times, it can be very, very therapeutic.
And the unconditional love that is just sort of flowing out of them towards you. I mean, it's just fantastic.
I know. Well, carrying the good mood forward, you know what? I picked up the Indian Express newspaper of yesterday's. I just had to bring it to work today because there was this lovely article on the front page. This is by Conan Sheriff. Yeah, Conan Sheriff is the journalist. And Conan says, Delhi professor offers kidney to Kerala bus cleaner, a stranger.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so nice to know that you do not have to be related to someone to offer help. And this is something big. Yeah. You are the light in the darkest moment of my life, said Paul. We follow the religion of humanity. We are brothers, replied John. That's how the article starts. And yes, this was about how this stranger, who's a Kerala bus cleaner, not very well off, is looking for grants to cure himself. And then the whole incident is just a reflection of what I just read out. It is showing showing a beam of light into darkness for someone who could really do with a little bit of that magic touch. It doesn't have to be related to you, doesn't have to be, this is all in the spirit of a world without boundaries. You know, it is one world. It is one world.
The religion of humanity. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that so much.
So I just had to pick this up. You know,
I'm glad
more
you did.
More power to the Delhi professor.
Oh yeah, more power to the religion of humanity. I'm into that. Well, speaking of religion, I picked up another article from the DNA, and this I just had to read to you, Satya. It says here, Buddhist lessons from Star Wars. Now, how can you not read that article? And this is by Hena Ajpal. And it says here, the world's most loved sci-fi saga has religion at its core, borrowing themes from several Buddhist principles and concepts.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, well, you know, when you look at Star Wars, what you really see is outer space, planets, spaceships, sci-fi, wars, blah, blah. But when Hina Archibald picked up Star Wars, and she had no idea about Star Wars before this, but when she picked up the Star Wars series, she saw the whole thing, you know, in sequence. And being a practicing Buddhist for close to 7 years, she says, I was hooked as soon as I recognized the Buddhist undertones. Some of the Buddhist principles that I had been studying for years made more sense when Yoda dispensed the wisdom, and concepts became clearer when Anakin Skywalker struggled with trials similar to those described in Buddhist sutras. And then she goes on, and she explains, like, she picks certain incidents from Star Wars and talks about how it's actually you know, completely you know, something that's drawn from Buddhist texts. So, for example, she says here that the situation of turmoil that the Phantom Menace opens with, and its increasing severity towards Revenge of the Sith, is not very difficult from the latter day of the law as described in the Lotus Sutra of Buddhism. It is an age of confusion in which people are tainted with the 3 poisons of greed, anger, and foolishness.
So, you know what? I can totally see that. I can totally see how one really looks inwards, only to reflect what is actually happening around us. I mean, it's just making me very philosophical at this point.
Well, George Lucas apparently was quite philosophical. As the creator of Star Wars, he specifically intended to deal with religious issues when he was writing Star Wars. He said so in an interview in 1999. And Star Wars can be a religion in itself. I mean, we could totally follow the Force, couldn't we?
Absolutely, we totally could. Well, on that note, we'll take a very short break because Charu and I can go on and on about our stories and our take on them. But you come right back after the break because you're still with us on WION Breakfast, and we have a lot more coming up for you.
Welcome back. After all the stories, here is our fitness segment. And Satya, this week we have Zubin Atre, who's going to be presenting a really interesting Yoga Sutra in WION Stretch.
That's right, we bring you a yoga session where Zubin Atre will be showcasing his yoga mantra that will help keep you fit in a very few easy asanas.
Hi, my name is Zubin Atre. I'm the founder of Atre Yoga, and today I'll be taking you through a series of asanas where we'll be focusing on the movements of the neck. The whole idea will be to thaw the muscles around the neck and the shoulders so that we can get deeper into the stretches further. Make sure that you're very nice and gentle to yourself. Make sure that you're breathing all the time when you're practicing. And if you have any health issues or medical histories, make sure that you consult your physician before you practice. So we're going to start with sitting right in the center of the mat with equal space on your right and equal space on your left. Make sure that your hips are in line with the border of the mat behind. You can place both your hands on top of the knees in Shin Mudra. Drop your shoulders down to relax and make sure that your chest is right above your hips. Close your eyes very gently and let yourself become aware of your surroundings. Become aware of your presence in time and space, and watch how the breath is working on your body and watch how the breath is working on your mind. Pay close attention towards the inhalations and towards the exhalations. Watch the breath entering the nostrils, watch the breath touching the back of your throat, and watch how the breath goes down along the spine. And allow every inhalation to hold your spine upright. And how with every release of the breath, you let yourself relax your shoulders, you let yourself relax the back of your neck, your facial muscles, and your scalp. You're maintaining the awareness levels up high, maintaining the stability and stillness within. We are now going to take a long deep breath in together to chant the universal sound of Om once. Inhale. Om. Now bring your palms together, drop them nicely, make them warm. Slowly cup your eyes very gently and open up your eyes. Great. So leave the left hand on top of the left knee with the palm facing up and stretch the right arm out towards the border of the mat on the right hand side. Reach out with your fingers as much as you can, holding your spine upright and straight. Just simply tilt your head down away from the right. The whole idea at the moment is to stretch the right hand side of the neck. Continue breathing in and out and make sure that your chest is right above your hips. Now slowly when you breathe in, you're going to let yourself stretch the right arm further out as if you're reaching towards the corner of the mat at the bottom, and lift your chin up towards where your left knee is pointing at the moment. Now visualize your chin being further far and away from the fingertips of the right. Continue breathing in and out and slow down your breath further. Now to get an extra nice stretch, you're going to pull your fingers in towards yourself and continue holding the position to breathe in deeper and slower. As you breathe out, you're going to get the arm up over the head, head comes back to the center, cover the left ear with your right hand and tilt your head down to the right hand side. Now while you hold yourself into this position, make sure that your right shoulder is relaxed and your spine remains upright. Now from there, when you breathe out, you're going to take your right hand to the left corner of the neck behind and you lower the chin down to the right hand side of the chest. Now if you visualize yourself from above, what you notice is that your right elbow, your right knee and the crown of the head, they'll be pointing in the same direction. Continue breathing in and out. Now slowly when you breathe out, you're going to lower the right hand down on top of the knee and relax. Right arm is totally relaxed and supple. Stretch the left arm out, reaching out towards the border of the mat on the left hand side. Reach out with the fingers as much as you can. Spine remains upright. So simply tilt your head down away from the left arm. Keep your lips together. Continue breathing in and out. Now take a long deep breath in. Lift your chin up towards where your right knee is pointing at the moment. Continue breathing in and out. Now stretch the left arm further out towards the corner of the mat. The whole idea is to stretch the scale lines on the left hand side and visualize how far your chin goes away from the fingertips of the left hand behind. Take a long deep breath in for an extra nice stretch. You can always pull your fingertips in towards yourself so that you can stick your palms out to get an extra stretch along the forearm. Slowly when you breathe out, you're going to get the arm up over the head, cover the right ear with your left hand and tilt your head down to the left hand side. Now while you're doing this, make sure that your left shoulder and your right shoulder, they're totally relaxed and supple. Continue breathing in and out. Now slowly when you breathe out, you're going to move your left hand to the right corner of the neck behind. Lower the chin down to the chest. Hold your spine upright. The stretch should be at the back of the neck on the right hand side. Visualize that your left elbow, left knee and the crown of the head will be pointing in the same direction. Now slowly when you breathe in, you're going to let yourself bring your head back to the center. Lower the hand down on top of the knee and relax. You can practice these micro stretches anywhere, anytime during the day. They will help you feel refreshed and more awake. And keep watching this series as we get further deeper into the stretches and we come up with emotionally uplifting twists. I'll see you in the mat very soon.
Well, thank you, Zubin Atre. What a great start to our day, talking about breathing, talking about stretching, specifically stretching the neck muscles. You know, these are the muscles which get very, very tight, especially when, you know, you spend your day like working at laptops and watching TV. These are the muscles that really need a good stretch and you need to breathe into them and relax them.
Charu, much as I might agree with you, I think what also struck me the most is the calm and the peace look on Zubin's face. I mean, he was stretching himself out and yet he was just talking so effortlessly.
Yeah.
I think that is something which I could totally identify with.
Oh, wonderful, Satya. Whatever works for you. All right, well, moving forward in this segment of our show, we will be talking about the fashion, music, dance, social media, and basically everything that lights up your day. And let's see what the Twitteratis are tweeting about with their hashtag, my 4-word problem.
My 4-word problem?
Yes, that's right, my 4-word problem. Never enough damn sleep or wine. Well, that is indeed a problem.
It is, totally. It definitely is a problem.
I'm out of beer.
Uh-oh, that is my perpetual problem. I'm always broke.
That is my perpetual problem.
You know, today it is my problem. Yesterday that was my problem. Day before yesterday that was my problem because I don't have cash.
No, pretty much everyone's problem in India these days. Also this one.
Currently overdrawn by bank. I'm telling you, era of demonetization, girl.
I really wish I was better at math.
No, I'm happy I'm done with it.
Yeah, also like, dude, count. My 4-word problem. 4 words, hello. Not good at spelling.
Yeah, I can see that. I can totally see that. Well, not my problem.
Spelling. It is kind of mine, unfortunately. I have terrible spellings.
Good food isn't healthy? I agree.
Yeah, that's sad, right?
Well, that's not even my problem.
I love food and I hate the fact that, you know, I eat too much. Yeah. But I just hate the fact that good food, you know,
is a problem.
Is not like the healthiest thing.
Yeah, I need more sleep. Now, Charu, this really brings me to the problem. It's like the best things in life are either unhealthy or immoral or unethical or illegal. As in, why?
Okay, moving on. We have a treat for movie fans. The new trailer of the new film Spider-Man Homecoming has been released.
The film starring Tom Holland as Spider-Man will be a teen comedy following a 15-year-old Peter Parker hiding his superhero alter ego as he gets through the struggles of homework, girls and puberty. Robert Downey Jr. will be reprising his role as Tony Stark, and the film is due for release in July 2017.
Oh, that was awesome.
Did Liz get a new top? No, we've seen that before. Never with that skirt. Should probably stop staring.
Well, something to look forward to, but with this, we come to an end for this morning. Do connect with us via Twitter. Tweet to us at WION Breakfast. For now, I am Charu Shankar.
And I'm Satyashri Gandham, and you were watching WION Breakfast. Do tune in tomorrow, same time. And now we leave you with weather updates from across the world.